Sup, Voidlings? I am back in Firefly Hills because I have a lot of stuff to do here. I really need to do some organizing. I have all of this stuff here. All of this is food though. Oh, no, it's not. Oh my goodness, there's so many eggs. I'm overflowing into this chest now. Alright, we have lots of things that we have to get sorted out. It kind of looks like I might be going chopping trees. Also today I should try knocking down all of the sugarcane and putting it all into bone meal so that I can spread these flowers like freaking crazy. But for now, I should just go ahead and chop down trees. I wouldn't mind getting to work on that hillside right there too. That needs to be peeled back. That's going to take forever. Alright, so I have talked about this already in a hardcore video that I made. So this might be a little bit redundant, but I'm pretty sure this episode is going to go out before that one anyway. So I guess if you're watching this and you watch the hardcore series, then you might end up getting the same story twice. But so I was kind of looking around on YouTube. I think I mentioned before, I don't remember where I mentioned this. I don't remember what series it was now. I mentioned that I was getting a little bit bored just making the style of content that I am. And of course, when you say such things, there's always running the risk of concerning people. I'm glad to see nobody was worried. There was at least one person who came forward with an idea, one that they've shared with me before, to try playing a different kind of game. A game that's more of like just play it whenever you want rather than a series. And I think I am going to do that soon. But I kind of got to thinking a little bit more about exactly what it is that is kind of the matter, I guess. Kind of the problem. I've spoken before about how much I hate editing. And I've also mentioned how I know it's a necessary evil. That's why I still put my all into it, even though I very much dislike doing it. But there's a lot of moving parts to this, so if I kind of jump around a little bit, I apologize, but it's only out of necessity. I only have one mouth. I can only convey one thought at a time. And there's a lot of thoughts that go into this. I definitely did not get all the logs in this tree. There is more. There is more. There is not more. Oh no, leaves are disappearing. I'm just going crazy, I guess. All of this wood is for chests, by the way. That's literally what I'm doing this for. I want to finish the storehouse today. But I've kind of been mulling this over a little bit, trying to figure out exactly how I want to word it. Well, I guess a good place to start is just kind of talk about what exactly my intentions have been this entire time. My intentions? That's not really the word. My directive, I guess. So I've mentioned this before, that I do hope that this channel turns into something like every single content creator is this way. So this is not astonishing news to anyone. What's up with those trees up there? I mean, it is a goal, but I don't know if I would say it's the only goal. Like, if that never happened, I don't think I would stop doing this. I would just, of course, be doing something else. At least I hope so. But the point is that, you know, when you're trying to grow a channel, you're trying to focus on what makes channels grow. And right now, in the current culture of YouTube, which I think is beginning to shift, but I'll talk more about that later. Like, because YouTube pretty much just shoves the most ridiculous stuff in your face all the time. And it's not even like sensible things either. It's like some random thing that you've never heard of before, but the dude speaking has a sponsorship with some online gambling website and is shoving gift cards around to try to buy viewers, etc., etc. You know the type. And unfortunately, for the longest time, that was pretty much what dominated the YouTube meta, pretty much. Now, of course, I never wanted to become one of those individuals, but there's this sort of pro and con to everything, and even amongst that content, there is pros. For instance, the fact that everything's sort of rapid fire, back to back. You know, you don't have to ask for somebody's attention in those kinds of videos because you just have it. And then of course there's the whole loud boisterous stuff that's going on. There's the flashy sound effects and special effects flashing across the screen constantly and all this other stuff. To each their own, but of course I have my opinions, and my opinion is that type of content, it can be summarized by exactly one word: obnoxious. So, you know, again, to each their own, but well, it pains me, but I have for the longest time been sort of trying to figure out how to mix that in with non-obnoxious content. That's pretty much been my design philosophy on this channel for a while now, is trying to figure out exactly. That worked out perfectly. Well, there you go. Is basically trying to figure out how to mix the old school with the new school and the extremely high energy, high octane stuff with the calm as well. The more sort of thought out style stuff. Well, if that sounds like a losing battle, there's a reason for that. It's because it is. It's just what I've come to realize in the past few weeks is that you're either one or the other, right? And I'm not talking about like the ability to mix them together or anything like that, not necessarily anyway. But mixing them together is possible, and it's a little bit easier to do than you might think. The problem is, however, is that most people's personalities either jive with one or the other, not necessarily both. And it's not like a person's locked to a certain personality or liking a certain kind of personality or something like that. It's not necessarily like that either. I don't know. I guess the best way to put it is that there's people who either like the really boisterous, loud, obnoxious content, as I call it, or there's the people who don't. And when you're trying to mix things together, then you're either going to, at times, please one crowd and then alienate the other, or the other way around. Either way, one crowd or the other is being partially alienated. I don't know how much of a shocker this will come across as, so you might want to brace yourself. I'm not exactly a super energetic individual. I know. The truth finally comes out. So I don't know, there's even like this like air of disingenuity. Yes. Why am I dumb? Whatever. That kind of comes with trying to mix them together, because it just doesn't work. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. Oh, maybe we'll do this by column then, because then I can do that one, animal products, mining, like mining resources. Maybe this will be nature resources, and this will be tools. That could work. Here. The copper pickaxe that never had to break. Firefly bush, sure, that's fitting. Sure, we'll put one of these in here. And we'll just put raw beef right there. All right, there we go. We're on our way. We're starting to get organized. Is the sun seriously going down already? Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, I chickened out on making 100 days videos thinking it would take way too long, but the sun goes down so fast. I don't know. I try to be pretty transparent with a lot of the stuff that I say, but I always kind of put it through a filter instead of just saying it exactly how I'm feeling it. So let me just go ahead and take the filter off and just kind of start talking. So I have been greatly dissatisfied with everything that I'm making. And I know that seems kind of harsh. Like, how in the world would I feel completely dissatisfied with literally everything that I'm making? How in the world can I even say that, pretty much? But truth be told, I'm actually going to put the eggs down here. But truth be told, I am pretty easy to please when it comes to, like, what other people do. I've spoken before about how I can literally just sit down and watch somebody's YouTube video of somebody digging in the dirt for hours. I'm there for that. I would absolutely love watching that. But when it comes to what I do, I have some extremely unrealistically high expectations. I want everything to be perfect all the time. I want every single video that I put up to be the next best one that I've ever made. And if that sounds incredibly taxing, that's because it is. Not exactly a fun or healthy way to live either. So like, I can almost guarantee that whatever state this video comes out in, I will be unsatisfied. So I think the solution to my problem is that I need to try to stop, this is gonna sound so weird, but I need to try to stop making stuff that I think people will like. Like I said, it sounds a little weird when you put it that way. Or, well, actually I say that, it probably doesn't sound weird at all, actually. Because I feel like everybody has a moment where they sort of have these thoughts. You know, whether it's this or 100,000 other things. Because like everybody at some point needs to learn that you can't please everyone. And the person that you should be trying to please the most is the one that you spend the most time with. And that's yourself. So like at the end of the day, no matter how anybody else feels, you have to be able to go to bed proud of who you were today, pretty much. And that sounds incredibly heavy for the very honestly kind of lighthearted conversation we're having right now. But some of the stuff that I've been making recently, some of it I actually really like. And go figure, it's a bunch of the stuff that was, I don't want to say no thought because, I don't want to say no thought because it's not like I didn't put any thought into it whatsoever, but it was more like I just turned on the game and whatever happened, happened. Well, I don't know why I'm talking about this like it's a secret which videos. The hightail videos that I've been putting up, and also the first hardcore video that I put up. And go figure, for longtime viewers, they might have already noticed. In fact, they're probably yelling at the screen right now because they've told me this on multiple occasions. But it's because I just went into it and had fun with it. I know, I have noticed for the longest time that the best things seem to happen when they're not planned. Which, if you can take a perfectionist, I'm sorry, I got shell-shocked by how many freaking shovels and pickaxes are in here. Oh my goodness. Well, let's take like items first then. That seems like a good idea. What the hell am I listening to? Oh, the flowers just opened up. It's nighttime. That's what that sound was. Don't worry about that sound. Our house is haunted. No big deal. But yeah, I want to be able to identify with my content a lot more. And the type of content that I really like watching is the more old school stuff. It's things like people just kind of sitting down and playing the game. No particular plan. It's just the game is being played. Minimal editing, very light. I will absolutely say one of my favorite channels on all of YouTube is Markiplier, and Lixian and his other editors do a fantastic job with his videos. So it's not like I have anything against heavier edits, but even if you watch his stuff, a lot of his stuff is pretty light as well. Like there are some heavy edits, but it's not all the time, every single second of the video. Now, I have got a confession to make. Play the music track. I kind of use editing as a little bit of a shield, and this is something that I realize I have to get over. I have a tendency to edit around a lot of my quirks and a lot of the things that I don't like about myself personally, and I have taken great comfort in that because I do take a little bit to think, a little bit more than I would say most other people. I'm a little slow, and I'm very self-conscious about that. I had a collaboration with Kuro, and we played Gmod, and we did a user-made map. It was like an elevator ride, and there was a lot of weird stuff going on. It was really cool. This is not the right place. It was really cool. I enjoyed doing that a lot. It's kind of sad when it was over. And this is nothing against Kuro or the video that he made or anything like that at all. I just want to make that clear. I really, really like the video. I've actually watched it like twice already. I like a lot of the edits that he did There was a few times though in the video that I noticed he would say something, and for me, I thought I was responding almost instantly, but yet in the video, it like takes a couple of seconds before you hear me respond. And that like concerns me a little bit because I have noticed that in a few other places. I don't really know if that's something I should be concerned about or not, but every time I've tried looking around, you know, you get a lot of people just saying that, you know, people are different. Some people respond quickly, other people don't. Just because you don't doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. But I don't know, it feels a little bit concerning whenever that happens. And there was even a few times where he would say something and I could have sworn I responded, but I apparently didn't. Yeah, like I said, it's a little scary. Like, I don't know if that's something I should actually try to get checked out. I don't even know how the hell you would do that anyways. Like, if they suspected anything wrong with your brain, it would be a CAT scan. But even if there would be like a million other signs though as well that I just don't exhibit. Well, nothing that they would be concerned about, because they would ask me my sleep schedule, I'd tell them, and they would raise an eyebrow and say, I know what your problem is. The problem is that, well, even now, what time is it? It's 2:15 in the morning right now. Of course, I'm not gonna lie, those few times that I woke up with a swollen throat has freaked me out, and now I'm like scared to sleep as it is anyway. Anyway, I have a blanket on me and I'm starting to sweat. I need to get this blanket off. Okay. There we go. Wow, is that the temperature in this room? I'm cold now. This took way longer than I thought it would. I'm coming up on the hour mark already. All right, perfect timing. The sun's going down. But yeah, I use editing to kind of, I'd hate to put it this way, but I have to be honest. I use it to protect myself. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm just gonna go full unfiltered. So you know what? Here goes nothing. I am actually, there's a lot of people over the years that have kind of applauded me for being so confident, and others would even use the word headstrong. Truth is, I am the complete opposite. I have like no confidence at all. I'm one of the most insecure human beings on the face of the planet. It sucks. Now, if you were to ask me once upon a time, I would say that I literally had self-loathing, which is basically like self-hatred, but you can't really help it. You just hate yourself. If somebody were to ask you why, you couldn't even really tell them. I don't think I can say that anymore. So, you know, progress. But just because there's progress there doesn't mean that the problem is totally gone, because just because I don't hate myself doesn't mean I love myself either. And just because I no longer think I'm completely useless and can't do anything doesn't mean I could produce a list of things that I can do to you if you were to ask. Like, to be clear, there are things that I know that I can do, but is any of it really useful? Not really. And I guess we're getting a lot deeper than I thought it was going to be, but you know what? We're this far, may as well keep going. There's a characteristic of mine that kind of scares me a little bit, if I'm being totally honest. Not scares like in a dangerous way, but more like I don't know if it's like desensitization. I don't really know what the word is I'm looking for, but well, let me just put it this way, right? Being a content creator, even a microscopic one like me, it usually comes with some people coming in and telling you good things about you. I guess if I were a normal person, I would have just called it a compliment, huh? But whatever. Anyway, I'm not even kidding. This isn't hyperbole. I'm not joking. I'm not putting on a discussion just for the sake of blabbing. Like, seriously, literally, I really, really, really dislike when people compliment me. They'll say like, oh, you make good videos, and even just saying that, I get like that feeling in my chest, like, just, no, stop, what are you doing? Kind of concerns me a little bit. You know, there's been many a philosophical discussion about how all things are arbitrary, and therefore nothing arbitrary is any more arbitrary than anything else, which is basically just a fancy inverse way of saying that you make your own meaning, and so long as you're happy, that's what you should be doing. I don't know, it's like, if I start thinking of it that way, then it starts to concern me a little bit, because what am I doing this for? Right? I don't mean that like, oh, what's the point? That's not what I mean. What I mean is like literally, what is the point? I realize I'm not making much sense, but what is the mechanical property? You know, what is the end result? What is the byproduct of what you're doing at that point? Because if it's literally just to do it for the sake of doing it, then you know what I mean? Like, what's the end goal once you've crossed that gap? You know, where do you stop? How do you know what you did was good enough or not? And does it even matter if it was good enough or not? And how do you determine that? And you know what I mean? Like, if you take the basis away, the point of doing something away, then what are you doing it for? So then, like, take me for example, am I doing it for the praise of others? Well, evidently not, because even when I do get praised, I want to gag, to be totally honest. So then, am I doing it for the praise of myself? Well, I will never do that. Hell no. So then, am I doing it for praise at all? Then could I sit back and honestly say that I'm doing it for other people? I mean, that one feels the comfiest to say. I don't know. Then that tends to raise other questions. And of course, the ultimate question just being, do you even need a great, big, huge, noble purpose behind what you're doing as well, right? Like, the answer to that is obviously no. You can just do something because it's fun. So, you know, maybe that's the final answer to it all is maybe I just do this because it's fun. And that's the only reason. Which, if that's the reason, then that's the reason. It's not like there's a right or wrong answer to this. It's just trying to figure out exactly why you want to keep doing it, even when you're not really satisfied with doing it anymore. And why aren't you satisfied with doing it anymore? And then how do you even quantify if you're satisfied with doing it anymore or not anyway? Because, like, I guess where I come at it from, I think about the earliest days and how, like, I was excited to push the upload button every single time that I had something to put up. I get like that sometimes now, but definitely not all the time. In fact, I would say it's probably pretty drawn down the middle. Like, sometimes it's, well, this is a video. It can go up. Sure, why not? And that's pretty much it. And I think a lot of that is because, I'm not gonna lie, I am constantly editing. And when I say that, I don't even mean like I'm constantly in the editor editing a video. But like, even now, in the back of my mind, my brain is trying to figure out how I'm gonna put all of this together in a video. Is the video too long? Have I rambled on too much? Can I make these sentences cohesive? Should I reword that last sentence? Etc, etc, etc. As you can imagine, that gets extremely tiring after a while. To constantly be evaluating everything that you do and say, trying to figure out how you're going to convey it. Whether it's even good enough to convey, like probably close to 24 times at this point in the back of my mind, I just had that thought pop up. Why am I talking about this? I'm just deleting this whole video anyway. Like, because I don't know. I don't like, I'd hate to use the words opening up because this isn't a heavy topic by any means, but for lack of any other way to put it, I don't like the opening up thing, which is so freaking weird because I kid you not, I can meet somebody and like freaking 4 hours later they're telling me their life story and everything that makes them sad. It's like, I don't know what it is about me, but people really like unloading their problems on me. I don't really mind because I don't know, I kind of feel like if they're doing that, then they probably don't have anyone to talk to otherwise. And if I can at least just be a pair of listening ears, even if I have no idea what the hell to say in return half the time. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't mind it when other people do it, but when I have to do it, I hate it. I feel like I should probably take a moment to just go ahead and reassure everybody I am not going anywhere. I'm not going to stop making YouTube content or anything like that, because my ultimate point behind this entire ramble is just that I need to change things up. And I think by changing things up, I mean that I should stop trying to change things up. Because the earliest days when I was super excited with everything that I was doing, I kid you not, I was like every single video I was excited to upload. And just thinking back to those days, Like, when I first started off, first of all, I didn't think that I was actually going to get very far. I mean, now we're on the second iteration, and it's doing very well so far. So it's like, at what point do you say it's not luck? Which then that feels pretentious, and I hate that so much. I don't know, actually, it's kind of fascinating talking about this. Me claiming to be good at something feels the same way in my mind, in my chest, as somebody else claiming that I'm good at something. That same impulse of, ew, why are you saying that, is the exact impulse I get when I say it. And come to think of it, it almost feels defensive. Like I have to defend myself. Like somebody says I'm good at something and my brain just goes, no, stop, go away. I don't know. I never claimed my mind to be anything other than broken, so... do I want to pick up that coal that's right there? I mean, it's literally exposed. I may as well. I have a lot of this stuff, and at some point I could actually make a charcoal generator, but anyway. I don't know. Anyway, getting back on track, I think what I'm getting at is, like, the part of YouTube that I fell in love with was the old school stuff. The kind of stuff where you just turn on the camera and you do something. And that's it. I mean, let's put it this way. A week ago, I would not be uploading a video like this, where I'm sitting here digging away layer by layer, a freaking dirt hill, breaking the rocks underneath it. Speaking of breaking, my pickaxe is about to break. Oh, there it goes. I don't know, a lot of the channels that I watch, again, I brought up a lot of this part. I've actually gone far deeper in this one than I did in the HC video, but the hardcore video. But even in that video, I mentioned these guys where there is Lovestar, Luvstar, all one word. I really like their content. And then their favorite content creator is I has Cupquake, or I have Cupquake, or something like that. I've never heard of this person before, which is odd because they're at almost 8 million subscribers. I've normally at least heard of a lot of the people that are near 10 million, but anyway. But I went and checked out her channel, and I really like her stuff too. Especially her hightail stuff. That was the first videos that popped up when I searched her name, and I clicked on it in a half a second. I love Minecraft, but hightail is very quickly becoming just as loved. But I really, really like both of their styles. Like, oh, shut up. Overworld demon growling at us again. But I think that's the hardest part about that kind of content, especially with my broken mind. It's like trying to figure out how to do less edited stuff and stop using edits as like a crutch. I think that's really difficult to get past, to be totally honest. But I don't know. First of all, I hate editing. And I hate that dumb little editor in the back of my mind evaluating everything I'm doing constantly when I am editing. Want to talk about sucking the joy out of something. But yeah, I mean, it's just... And then YouTube is, so like I said earlier, there for a while it seemed like that obnoxious style content was like all the algorithm would ever push. But YouTube has been making changes to its algorithm recently, and I know they push a lot of AI tools, which are about as helpful and useful as they sound, as in not at all. Despite them putting in shitty, useless tools, YouTube does seem to be trying to put more emphasis on people rather than the corporatization all the freaking time. Like, even on my own timeline, I see way more small channels now than I ever did before. I know, I feel like I've rambled on about this for a very long time. I'm looking at the recording time elapse thingy, and it says I've been going for an hour and a half. So I might go ahead and try to wrap up this episode here real soon, because I have no idea how much of this is going to be ranting, probably the entire video, but I don't know how long the video is going to be, so I don't know how much ranting you're in for. If you've stayed to this point, then you must really not have anything else going on. But yeah, I think I want to just kind of go back to like the old style of content. I wish I could hit the freaking button on the time machine and like... well, I was going to say go back, but I don't want to go back because things have gotten better in some places. But I don't know, maybe a fast forward button to the point where the world finally returns to normalcy and we don't have batshit crazy people ruining all our lives all the time. There's so many times I don't really know what else to call this other than like dimensionalizing or something. Maybe it's just compartmentalizing, I don't know, but this sort of ideology, this, oh shoot. Okay, well hold on. While I finish my thought, I'll knock down the sugar field. But there's like this desire to just find a way to sort of isolate yourself into your own little worlds and just stay there. The rest of the world be damned. But yeah, I've never really felt like escapism is my motivation or anything like that. I just kind of, I don't know. I guess I kind of feel like I just kind of want to make my own little spot and people are welcome, but tread lightly. Because I am so fed up with the world. Oh, hello. With the world's craziness and stupidity and all the lying that's constantly happening all the time. It's ridiculous. It's like everybody's lost their minds or something. I don't know. I know. Anyway, I'm just kind of senselessly rambling at this point. As if I were to attempt some semblance of getting back on track. I think I'm going to do more content like this, where I just sit down and talk. I swear to you that the next video will be cheerier than this. I don't know, I kind of feel like maybe I just had a lot to get off my chest. I do actually feel a little bit better now. What? How did you even get in there? Brother, why? You have literally the worst combat moveset in the entire game. Beat it. Don't you happy dance? Jeez. Now that is a lot of flowers. I think another reason why I'm not sleeping tonight, well, it most likely won't be. It's currently like real feel 2 degrees outside, which is very abnormal. This whole weekend's been abnormal. Look at all the flowers. Jeez. All right, well, let's start taking some of these because I do need to breed. I'm not saying anything that sounds right anymore. I was noticing this in my hightail video. Wait, was it hightail? It may have been my HC episode. Wait, you just went in there. How do nests work? I'm gonna have to go to the wiki. I'm just gonna have to do it. I like trying to figure things out on my own, but these things are confusing the heck out of me. A bee the size of you would make me scream and cry in real life. Tell your future partner to come out of this nest. Oh, you don't have to. All right, there we go. Make another bee. Yes. I don't suppose I can just get you all grown up. I'm trying not to say things that sound weird and it still comes out weird anyway. I too am upset. Oh, there you go. All right, well, now I just have to breed them at some point. This is going to be a long video. But you know what? I'm getting a little sick and tired of worrying about video lengths too. Like however long the video is, that's how long it is. Like and share the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to see more. Huge shout out to our enchanters. Thank you guys so much. You allow me to do a heck of a lot more than I'd be able to on my own. Most of all though, I just hope that you have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.